Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Wait, wrong creatures. This week, Jason and Dee are doing a deep dive on a van-surfing, basketball-playing teenage werewolf versus a group of classic movie monsters on the hunt for a magic amulet. Who will come out on top? Grab your silver bullets, garlic, wooden stakes, and holy water, and join the Surely You Can't Be Serious podcast as they discuss 1985's Teen Wolf and 1987's Monster Squad. And remember, if all else fails, kick 'em in the nards.
All right, D, I got 3 pieces of advice for you before we start the podcast today. Number 1, never get less than 12 hours of sleep. Number 2, never play cards with a guy whose first name is a city. And number 3, never go near a lady with a tattoo of a dagger on her body. You stick with those 3 things and everything else is cream cheese.
Welcome back to the Surely You Can't Be Serious podcast, everybody. We are here today for our special annual Halloween episode, and have we got a couple of very special movies for you. Guys, these are a couple movies that you can sit down with your little kids and watch. I mean, I would go so far as to say 9, 10 years old, totally fine watching these movies. What do you think?
For the most part, I think there's a couple of things in Teen Wolf that you might want to keep away from your 10-year-old. But
yeah, there's some closet and Jello moments that maybe are a little advanced, but probably less than anything they've seen in TikTok. Guys, we are talking today about 2 movies, one from 1985, one from 1987. First one being Teen Wolf, and the second being The Monster Squad.
Man, I can't wait to talk about these 2 movies because both of these have a special place in my heart.
Mm-hmm. So did you watch these movies in the theater?
I saw Teen Wolf in the theater for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so yeah, 100%. Like I was right after Back to the Future. I was probably even before, but I was Michael J. Fox obsessed at that point. So I absolutely saw Teen Wolf in the theater. And I know that I saw Monster Squad in the theater as well. Yeah. It was because my brother was going to go see The Lost Boys, and I was not allowed to watch that because that was a rated R scary movie. But this was basically the next best thing. I mean, you still got at least one vampire that you've got in this movie. I remember it, and I remember liking it very well, and then it just disappeared. I was just like, why don't I ever hear about this movie anymore? Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, at that time in my life, I didn't have HBO, and so, I had friends who had seen it on HBO, and they liked it, but you couldn't rent it. There was no VHS. It was a bummer.
I saw it on HBO, and it's funny that you mentioned The Lost Boys because that, in my opinion, is one of 2 movie reasons why the Monster Squad got buried.
Yes.
You want me to go ahead and tell you what it is?
Sure. All
right. So for me, that summer of 1987, The Lost Boys came out at the very end of July, which the public said, this is awesome. We want cool teenage badass vampires.
Yep.
We don't want the little rascals. At that time,
yeah.
This movie bombed.
Yep.
At the theaters. Now, it found its audience later, which I think is super cool.
I said to you, this is a kind of a unique circumstance because we really have 2 movies, one which probably shouldn't have made it but did, and one that probably should have made it but didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
If you look at Monster Squad and you look at Goonies, which came out just a couple years before, it's just
it's
basically the same thing. You even got the same mom.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, Mary Ellen Trainor, right?
All right, I asked you, Mary Ellen Trainor, hot, not hot?
Not hot. I have to disagree with Bill Murray and Scrooged. I think he was just ready to go on anybody, though. So.
Hey, Robert Zemeckis thought she was hot.
Well, yes.
Kind of interesting that Robert Zemeckis, Back to the Future, Teen Wolf, Monster Squad.
There's all kinds of overlap with not only these movies, but with the people involved in all of the movies. So many of the movies that we've talked about in the past.
Yes. By the way, speaking of a movie that we talked about in the past, the other movie that buried the Monster Squad is Dirty Dancing.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Sure.
In between Lost Boys and Dirty Dancing, there's a brief moment in time where you could get a hit, but it didn't happen.
I'm going to go so far as to say that had they changed their marketing tactic, this movie would have been a success. But I think they did an absolute dismal failure on marketing this movie. And so it didn't have time to gain momentum and build up the following in the theater because it was in and out so quickly.
You mentioning that is very curious because one of these movies was marketed poorly and did poorly, and the other one was maybe marketed the greatest of all time.
Pretty genius. Yeah. Yep. Just on that note, and we can talk more about this later, but right before The Monster Squad came out, Lethal Weapon came out. Like 6 months before, Lethal Weapon came out. If your advertising campaign is The Monster Squad by the writer of Lethal Weapon, you got a million more people that are going to come see that movie.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
No, me neither.
Poor poor job.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's jump into how these movies got started and enjoy the ride. Yeah.
Hey, all right.
All right.
So we talk about Teen Wolf first?
Yeah, because that's the ride, right? I mean, you got to go surfing, right? We got to go do some van surfing.
Everybody's gone surfing.
You got your Bodie Surf Shop shirt on. I have my Teen Wolf. Oh, and my little Funko Pop guy over here. By the way, if we make it through the entire podcast without knocking him over, it is a success.
Win by me. Gosh.
Win by both of us.
Yep.
Okay, so Teen Wolf.
Well, for one thing, you're going to be able to do a lot of things the other guys aren't.
Oh, like chase cars and bite the mailman?
Got to start with the writer, the guy that came up with the idea. We've talked about him before. I know that some of our listeners, when I say his name, are going to be like, oh, I didn't know he wrote this. But they will remember that we have talked about him before. So the guy who wrote this is named Jeph Loeb. Okay. And when I said something to you, like, as we always do, I'm driving and talking to you and you're like, I remember that name. I'm like, well, good. I'm glad that you can not remember it so that I know it's okay to tell you guys about it again. So Jeph Loeb was famous in comic books first. He was involved with, pick a comic. He was involved with it. Spider-Man, Captain America, Batman, and specifically Batman, The Long Halloween.
It's one of my favorites.
Right. It's monumental, right? So he had been involved with comic books, and this was the first film script that he ever wrote, or at least the first one that ever got made into a movie. And so we've mentioned him before when we talked about Batman.
Okay.
The Batman.
Okay.
Because Matt Reeves was a student in Jeph Loeb's writing class.
Wow.
He had a screenwriting class, and Matt Reeves, who directed the Batman, was in that class. Now, interestingly, Matt Reeves' first script that got made into a movie was Under Siege 2, which he was embarrassed by.
Hey.
But he was trying to do kind of a Die Hard knockoff, and they put it on a boat or whatever, Die Hard on a boat. But Jeph Loeb is actually the one that modified it after it had been acquired, and it was Jeph Loeb's finished product that became the actual Under Siege movie. That and all of the stupid stuff that Steven Seagal wanted to do.
Hey, I've seen Under Siege 2. Here, let me just say this. I'm just going to put this out there.
Yeah.
Under Siege 1.
Yeah.
Very enjoyable, fun action movie.
Yeah.
Steven Seagal, Tommy Lee Jones, Gary Busey, Erica Laniak. It's great. Under Siege 2, you actually get a young Katherine Heigl. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Okay, so this is the first script that Jeph Loeb has that's made into a movie. He's been a comic book guy, and we talked about him when we talked about the Batman, but I also said we talked about him earlier this year.
It dawned on me after we hung up the phone what it was.
Do you remember now?
It was Commando.
Commando is correct. Now, do you remember who Commando was supposed to be kind of based on out of the comic books?
Sergeant Rock.
Sergeant Rock. Sergeant Rock is the comic book that a character in Predator, another Arnold movie.
Another movie we've covered.
There's a guy in that movie who's reading the Sergeant Rock comic book. And who is that?
That is Shane Black.
Who wrote
Monster Squad
and
Lethal Weapon.
Go.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
How
so
about that? Good.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Okay, yes. So Jeph Loeb writes the script for Teen Wolf, but he has a partner. You got a story on this?
Yeah. So I found this really interesting. They actually broke down their writing style for this, and I thought, man, you and I need to try this because I thought it was brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
So Jeph Loeb and a guy named Matthew Weisman were the guys who wrote this. They were fresh out of film school.
Yep.
And what he said was Jeph knew what to write and Matthew knew how to write.
Okay.
So here's what they did. Well, first of all, let me back up. They were invited to pitch movie ideas to Atlantic. Atlantic had just had this big hit with Valley Girl. Mm-hmm. And they were looking for this money-making formula.
Yeah.
They needed something mega cheap that would make, big bucks.
Right.
Seems like a brilliant idea, right? Sure. So they came in, they were invited to pitch ideas. They came in, they pitched about 10 or 11 ideas. Yep. And so they're, it's one of those things where it's like, we think, Die Hard on a ship, right. Oh, okay, and right. It was just kind of pitched ideas. Mm-hmm. And when they left, you got a call back. And so Jeph got the call back from the studio and they say, we want you to make one, He's like, oh, what is it? What is it? And they're like, Teen Wolf. And he's like, oh. He was like, that's the one you chose out of those 10?
Right.
So he called his friend, Matthew Weisman, who is, going to help him write this. And Matthew's like, what'd they say? What'd they say? And he's like, well, they want to make one. He's like, which one? And he's like, Teen Wolf. And Matthew Weisman was like, oh. Both of them were like, that's the one they chose?
Really? Yes.
Yeah. It was interesting, though. So Jeph Loeb said, in a script, about 50 things or so happen, okay? Not 50 scenes, but 50 things.
Yeah.
And so he's talking about how, okay, Scott and Boof are walking down the sidewalk. That's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Styles drives up in a crappy old car. That's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so he would write these things on like cards, and he would put these cards up, and then he would give the cards to Matthew, and then Matthew would kind of weave the things together.
Okay.
And he would write the dialogue, and this is the cool part. So they would chase each other through the script.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So he'd give him like 10 ideas, and then Matthew would write like 10 pages. So he'd give the pages to Jeph. Jeph would give him 10 more things, and then Jeph would like kind of go over what his screenplay was. Mm-hmm. And they just kind of weaved it together, and
that's a great team right there.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
When Atlantic greenlit Teen Wolf,
Yeah,
they said, here's the deal. We need this back in 3 weeks, and we also need you guys to do it for about $4,000. And they were like, okay, sounds good. Let's do it. $4,000, 3 weeks worth of work split between two people, but they're getting their script made into a movie.
Yeah, right.
They were even producers for a time. Like before they had brought on producers for the movie, mm-hmm. They were consulted on who the director for the movie would be.
So I got the story on the director if you want that.
Sure, tell me.
Okay. So the director is a guy named Rod Daniel.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now he grew up in Tennessee. His dad was a doctor, actually was one of the founders of the Board of Thoracic Surgery. It was totally expected that Rod was going to go to school and also be a doctor. But when he got back from Vietnam, he was like, I don't want to do that. I want to go do other things. And
I've been shot at. I changed my mind.
Yeah. And so he started working in an advertising agency, and through the advertising agency directed a few commercials, and he had a buddy named Hugh Wilson. Have you heard the name Hugh Wilson before?
Police Academy.
You got it, buddy. That's
yes.
right. All right. High five on
the
that.
spot
wow,
right there.
That is awesome. Yes. So Hugh Wilson, before Police Academy, was the guy who created and wrote and produced a TV series called WKRP in Cincinnati.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yep, that's it. And so Rod Daniel had gone out to Hollywood, was interested in making films. Actually, he hadn't really developed it at that point, but he sits in on the pilot episode of WKRP in Cincinnati. He watches what the guy's doing, and he's like, I could do this. Uh-huh. And he says, I'm not normally a pushy guy, but in this instance, I was like, Hugh, I can do this. I can direct it. And so he made him an assistant producer. Eventually, he started directing. He ended up directing about 33 episodes of WKRP in Cincinnati.
Cool.
So, but his perspective on it, and this is what he said, television is just a machine. It's a sausage machine. It's just like you just got to crank. And what he really wanted to do was direct a film. And Atlantic had this film that they wanted and needed a director for. And they were going through all of these directors. And every director, they'd say, what is this movie about? And they'd say, it's about a teenage werewolf. That seems like the obvious thing. So Rod Daniel was the only guy that said, it's about a father and a son. And it was because he said it's about a father and a son that he got tapped to be the director of this movie. Now, whenever we've been talking multiple times, and we'll talk about Michael J. Fox in just a second, you keep saying growing pains. And
I said it 50 times.
And I was like, okay, if we can make it through the episode without you calling Family Ties growing pains, that'll be another win, right? But next movie that he directed after Teen Wolf, do you know it?
Like Father, Like Son.
Who starred?
In Growing Pains.
Right. Kirk Cameron. Kirk Cameron from Growing Pains. That's right. And also Dudley Moore from Arthur. Go check out our second to last episode before this on Christopher Cross. But anyway, before that, he is interviewing people for the main part of Teen Wolf. Met Michael J. Fox. He liked him instantly. He's like, this is our guy for sure, right?
Right.
Now, Michael J. Fox had been on Family Ties, was still on Family Ties, but it was a weird circumstance that happens that allows him to be able to go to make this movie. Now, if you go back to season 1, ladies and gentlemen, in our second or third series, we did Back to the Future versus Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's right.
Right. And we talked at that time about how Michael J. Fox didn't get the part initially because he was working Family Ties and he couldn't do both the movie and the series. So then the question is, well, then how did he do Teen Wolf? Because Teen Wolf got filmed before Back to the Future, right?
That's right.
The reason is he obviously was a very popular character, but Meredith Baxter Birney, the mom, got pregnant.
Yes.
And she had to take 25 days off. and 25 days is how long it took them to shoot this movie.
That's exactly right. 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yeah.
3 weeks between October and November of 1984.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
what other great movie from the 80s can we chalk up to somebody's pregnancy where another actor got the part, knocked it out of the park while his co-star had a baby?
That would be Moonlighting.
And the movie is
Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Yes.
Yes. Good job.
All right. So, and that'll come up. It already came up. It already came up. Die Hard already came up. It came up again. All right.
Thank you, Sybil Shepherd's husband and Meredith Baxter Burney's husband.
Okay. So I'm going to rewind just a little bit because we didn't really dive into Michael J. Fox whenever we did our Back to the Future episode.
Okay.
And I do want to dive in a little bit here. Okay.
Yeah.
He was little. Like he's still little, right? He's still around, and he's very. It was a great when he won his Emmy or whatever. He got up there and he's like, "Oh man, I feel 4 feet tall." You know, he's always been a small guy, and he wasn't a particularly good student. C's and D's mostly in his school.
All right.
But he fell in love with acting because it gave him the opportunity to be somebody that was not himself, right?
Sure.
And also all the girls were in the drama class. He's a hockey player, played other sports, but he was like, ooh, drama, I'm there.
I'll tell you what sport he didn't play.
Yeah.
Basketball. Keep going.
Right. So he does well, and he actually gets some jobs on these Canadian TV shows and is doing some small-time stuff, and he's like, this is what I want to do. And his dad was a worker and a grinder and always kind of sneered at him about the things, and he didn't support his acting initially, but when he came to him and he's like, I'm no good at high school. I know I can make it if I go out to Hollywood, but I'm not going to make it unless I do. His dad said, well, then I guess that's what we've got to do if you're that determined to do it. And his dad, even though they had no money, put it all on the Visa card, drove him out there from Canada, took him to 4 auditions. He got called back on all of them.
Wow.
And his dad said, you've got this by the tail. Don't let it go. Dropped him off at a tiny, tiny little studio apartment that had 1 sink that he washed his dishes and his hands and his hair in. And his dad left, and he did these little bits, right? But it was like on Trapper John MD.
Yeah.
And it was other like small TV series things. And he was not making much money, and he wasn't getting a whole lot of parts. And he got to where he was like, well, I have this sectional. I could sell it, or I could sell a piece of it. And he sold a piece of his sectional so that he had money to pay rent and to eat. And then he sold another piece, and then he sold another piece, and he was down to no furniture. He was stealing jelly from the IHOP, the little free jelly you get, to eat because he had nothing else to eat.
Wow.
He was doing McDonald's commercials at best. You know, that would be a great payday.
Yeah.
He's got one final, like, the make it or break it audition, right? The director doesn't want him. The head of the studio does not want him. They let him come in and read for the part anyway. As he's in the room to read for this part, he's like, oh, crap. Like the whole script just went, like he just drops it and it all falls apart. He's like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'll get this, you know, and there's just, you know, a line of people just watching, the director shaking his head, and they start the scene and he starts saying these lines, and I'm listening to it, and the lines on the page are not really that funny. But when they come out of his mouth, everyone in the room is laughing. And that's how he gets the job of Alex Keaton until the first episode when he ad-libs as he answers the phone and says, Alex P. Keaton. Oh. He gave himself the middle initial in the first episode of the show.
How about that?
There you go.
I love it, man.
That's how he gets the job on Family Ties.
You know, just hearing that makes me happy, number one. But when I watch Teen Wolf, I mean, of course, Back to the Future, but when I watch Teen Wolf, he owns the screen.
It's charisma all over the place, man.
I can't even put my finger on it. He just has it. It's it.
Give me a keg of beer.
He has an uncanny way of delivering things in a completely believable way that also is a way that makes you smile or laugh. I mean, he's just a gifted guy in that regard.
Yeah.
And we mentioned before that he was not able to do Back to the Future because of his commitment to Family Ties. Well, when he got back, as he was filming Teen Wolf, he knew they were filming Back to the Future. Like, he knew what was going on. He's like,
They were both
"What's-"
filmed in South Pasadena.
Exactly. What is going on across the street over there that Steven Spielberg is involved in? And he finds out that Crispin Glover's in it. And he knows Crispin. He's like, crazy Crispin is in a Steven Spielberg movie, and I'm doing this B high school monster movie. What is going on?
Right.
And it's only when he gets back that Dave Goldberg, I believe is his name. Goldberg is his last name. I remember that. It's easy to remember. The director of Family Ties brings him into his office and says, I have a confession to make. Steven gave me this script. And when he said Steven, he knew exactly who he was talking about. Steven gave me this script months ago and wanted you, specifically you, for this part. And I told him no.
Right.
He can't have you. I can't spare you. It won't work.
Right.
But he felt guilty. Like, he felt guilty. And he said that he's just called me back. They've had Eric Stoltz in there and they don't think he's right. And they're willing to spend a lot of money to reshoot all of his scenes, and they're begging me for you. And he says, don't screw me on this. And so literally the way that it would go for the however many weeks they filmed, a Teamster would come pick him up from his tiny little crappy apartment at 9 a.m. It would take him over the Paramount lot where he would shoot all of the Family Ties stuff. Then at 6 p.m., another Teamster would drive him to wherever they happened to be shooting on Back to the Future. He would shoot until just before sunrise. I was like, you notice that a lot of the movie is at nighttime.
Yeah.
Like a whole lot. Like all of the big fun scenes, they're at night.
Yeah.
That was because that's what time Michael J. Fox could film. And so just before dawn, they would wrap filming and he would get in the back of a station wagon with a blanket and a pillow. The Teamster would drive him back to his studio apartment, frequently have to carry him upstairs, put him in his bed, and he would get another couple of hours sleep until another Teamster came over, made a pot of coffee, turned on the shower, got him out of bed, and started the whole process all over again.
I think it was November 1st, 1984.
Okay.
He films first thing in the morning to basically till 6 p.m. Growing Pains. All right. They pick him up first thing in the morning. He films all day Family Ties. Then he does pickups for Teen Wolf.
Oh, yeah, the pickups.
Then he goes and films Back to the Future all night long.
Oh, yeah.
So he actually did 3 things in one glorious day in
That
1984.
is crazy. That is
insane.
crazy. So when he's done with all of this, he knows how exhausted he is, right? He knows that he's been struggling on Family Ties. He knows he's been struggling as they've filmed Back to the Future. And he's just like, I can't believe that I've effed this up. There's no way that it can be good. It just can't be good. As bad as I've been, there's no way it can be good. And his agent called him and said, I saw the movie. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just exhausted. And the guy's like, it's great.
Which movie are we talking about now?
Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be a star.
Yeah.
And so what happens with Teen Wolf is that they say, it was filmed first.
They're smart.
When was their original release date?
It's supposed to be in March
In March.
of 1985, which that kind of lines up with basketball season.
Right. Sure.
They release it in football season in August of 1985.
And what came out in July of 85?
That'd be Back to the Future.
Right.
So the producers of Teen Wolf got wind of Back to the Future. They knew it was Spielberg. They knew it was big budget. And they knew that the studio had high confidence in its success.
Mm-hmm.
They chose to gamble on Back to the Future, and they held the release of Teen Wolf. They pushed it to August of 1985. August was a time when you released your junk,
Yeah.
right? All your crap.
All the summer blockbusters are over by August.
That's
Yeah.
right. And they said, nope, we're going to hold. We're going to go all in on Back to the Future, release Teen Wolf after Back to the Future. And, of course, it
Blew up.
blew up.
I think the budget was something like
$4 million?
$4 million, which is not very much money.
Yep.
And I don't remember
80-something?
80-something $million is what it grossed worldwide.
Yeah.
Good call on just wait. Let's just wait. Let's just see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Brilliant.
All right.
Okay.
Let's flip over to Monster Squad.
So what do you say? Are we Monster Squad? Or what?
Right. So Monster Squad. So again, something we've talked about in the past is the Pad O Guys.
The Pad O Guys.
You remember the Pad O Guys?
I do.
We first talked about the Pad O Guys, I believe, when we were talking about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, because Ed Solomon was a roommate among the Pad of Guys. Ed Solomon was a member, a resident, a roommate,
yeah.
a roomie, a guy who would play football in the yard at 3 a.m. and hang around with pizza boxes and unfinished scripts with the rest of these guys.
Yeah.
Also, David Silverman, who wrote The Simpsons.
Wow.
Also, David Arnett, who wrote The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Also, Robert Renault, who wrote Demolition Man. And David Fincher never lived there, but he'd come hang out with him pretty frequently.
What?
Yes.
What?
So, in addition to those guys, there were a couple of other guys. One of them was named Shane Black, and the other one was Fred Dekker.
That's insane, man. So, I think we talked in our Bill and Ted's episode way back when, season 2, maybe.
Yeah.
That, Ed Solomon, they would go to these classes, like film writing classes, and they would brainstorm and work and do all this stuff. And he said Shane Black he didn't come to class, didn't work hard. He was kind of half asleep. And then the times that he would say something, it was like Shadow Company.
Yes. Vietnam mission in action guys who come back, their bodies come back as zombies and wreak havoc on the. Which, if you go back and you listen to our Lethal Weapon episode, by the way, go back and listen to that. Shane Black showed that script to his brother. His brother said, "It's terrible. Don't do this."
Yep.
And that, it's at that point that he starts writing Lethal Weapon. He veers and he starts writing Lethal Weapon. And if you'll remember, the Shadow Company actually does, the name Shadow Company comes up in Lethal Weapon.
Yep.
But before that, just before he writes the Lethal Weapon, he's in this, he had his parents bankroll him for a year, just said, let me go try to make it as a writer. And so he's there with these other guys, and Fred Dekker is having a little more success.
Yeah.
Right. He writes a script that becomes House, which got released in 1985.
Yeah.
You've seen that one?
I have.
Not impressed?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's fun.
But he parlays that into becoming the writer and director of Night of the Creeps, which you've covered with Jeph Johnson, right?
I have. That's right. I love Night of the Creeps. It's
Okay.
so much fun.
So he does Night of the Creeps, and we've got a little momentum building now, right? So this is 86 or so.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. He's watching, all they do is they sit around and they watch old TV shows, right? And if you remember watching old TV shows in the 80s, you probably remember, like I do, watching the 1930s versions of Dracula
100%.
and Frankenstein and the Wolfman. Well, the Wolfman I think was like later, but the Mummy,
Yeah.
Creature from the Black Lagoon, all known together now as
The Universal Monsters.
the Universal Monsters. That's right. So he's watching that. He's watching old Little Rascals episodes, and he's like, man, what if we had like a crossover of because he's watching Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, right?
That's right.
And he's like, it was like many things. It was fantastic when the first one came out, and then they would release next movie, slowly got lower and lower quality until it was just a joke. He says, but on the joke movies, the Frankenstein became scary again. You got Abbott and Costello, he's freaking out because the hand it's on his leg is not his own hand.
It's awesome, yeah.
And so he's like, well, if we had this kind of Abbott and Costello moment with kids, like the Little Rascals, with these monsters, maybe that makes a good movie idea. He suggests it to Shane Black. Okay. Now, keep in mind that Shane Black, a little bit later, will write Lethal Weapon. He will also write The Long Kiss Goodnight, which at the time that it was sold for more than any other spec script had ever sold for in history, something like $4.5 million. And he's in his freaking 20s.
Yeah.
He's in his 20s. And he goes on to write Iron Man 3. I mean, he's done a few things,
He has,
right? He's
yeah.
He got brought into Predator to doctor the script as they were doing stuff, even though he didn't actually end up doing it. He just was the guy reading Sergeant Rock in the background and
Right.
making totally inappropriate jokes. But anyway, he's like, I got to quote him here. Hold
You
on.
see, it's an echo. It's an echo, see?
So Shane Black said this about the Monster Squad. He said, I'm not kidding when I say this. The Monster Squad was the purest script I ever did, with the least amount of self-consciousness and the most passion. It was my best script.
What?
So Shane Black, this script writing icon, calls this movie his best script.
That's fantastic. And this is the guy who did Lethal Weapon, Long Kiss Goodnight, Iron Man 3, like you said.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, all of those, yes.
Did he do The Nice Guys? I think maybe he did.
He did do The Nice Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So he writes the script. Fred sees it and he's like, okay, let's change these things. And basically they're back and forth on it until really it's kind of a joint project. And I told you, I just realized after, weeks of studying this, that means that this script is a Black and Dekker script.
What a great, that's a joke. That's next level, D. Good job.
Yeah. Okay. So the script gets greenlit. They're very excited because everyone is told that they get permission to use the Universal monsters.
Yeah.
And then a few days later, they say, no, wait, no, we don't. We don't have permission at all.
Well, you're dead in the water. If you can't use the Universal monsters, you have nothing.
Well, keep in mind that short of the Wolfman and Creature from the Black Lagoon, these are already established characters in literature. This is not, the Universal does not have exclusive rights to Dracula or the monster of Frankenstein. So there's some maneuverability there, right?
Okay.
So they got to change things up and they're making adjustments, right? Among the guys that are producing this movie is a guy named Peter Hyams. You know Peter Hyams?
I do know Peter Hyams.
Peter Hyams, the year before, had directed 2010, the year we made contact,
Yes.
right? After this, he would go on to direct Running Scared, which I believe is a favorite of yours.
Love Running Scared. It's one of my favorite movies of the 80s.
Still haven't seen it. That needs to be one of those virgin experiences for me. Let's see if I can like it. Then he did Time Cop and Sudden Death. How about getting Steven Seagal and Jean-Claude Van Damme in one episode that has nothing to do with their movies? But as Fred Dekker is filming this movie, Peter Hyam is not happy with him, and he was like, "I'm about to get fired. I know that this is back up." But fortunately, Peter Hyam just said, "Listen, the way you're filming," and he coached him. Right? He didn't fire him. He coached him. He said, "Listen, you have in your mind the way this movie is going to go, and you're filming it for the way that you think it's going to go. The problem with that is, if anything goes wrong with the way that you're filming it, you have no net. You've got no backup. You're not doing enough coverage." And so he's like, do some establishing shots. And if you watch the movie, you're like, oh, dude, there's the establishing shot. There's the establishing shot.
Master shot,
you get a master shot out there and show the widescreen. And he said not only did it help him, it kind of helped everybody else understand what was going on in the scene, so that was acted better, and the guys doing all the set work and all of the other stuff understood it better. And it was absolutely the right call.
It helped his team make a better movie.
Exactly.
Because of the master shot. By the way, I just wanted to drop some knowledge on Night of the Creeps, which I'm a big fan of. Have you ever seen it?
I have not seen it.
Okay. So there's some Shirley crossover in Night of the Creeps that I just want to bring up real quick, just for fun.
Okay.
So it stars Tom Adkins, who is also in Lethal Weapon.
Yes.
He's Hunsaker, the guy who gets shot.
Through the milk jug, yes.
Through the milk jug.
Several guys get shot. He's the only one that gets shot through the milk jug.
That's right. That's right. Gary Busey blows him away.
Right. Also, by the way, an idol of our listener, Amanda Janik.
Amanda Janik loves Tom Adkins.
She calls him Love King, yes.
Then you have two of the girls from Weird Science in Night of the Creeps.
Okay.
You have, can't remember if it's Hilly or Deb. It's one of them. Right. And like the star of the show is the perfume girl at the mall, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
The girl who's like, didn't you two get beat up at the homecoming dance last year? Yeah. Her name is Jill, I think. Okay. And she has one of the greatest, will she or won't she show us her 80s boobs of all time. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go watch Night of the Creeps.
Okay.
But also starring in Night of the Creeps is Jason Lively, who plays Rusty in European Vacation, which we covered last summer.
Yeah, I think so.
There you go.
Okay, so just because you brought up Night of the Creeps, I just got to say this line. Dead guys do not get up and walk away by themselves. It's in Night of the Creeps, and it's in the Monster Squad.
How about
both of them, yes.
I thought you were getting ready to say,
and
thrill me.
Yeah, and then like a dead guy walks by, right? That's what happens.
I've got such a great nugget on casting that I can't wait to give you.
Okay. All right. So that kind of does it for the lead up to both of these movies. Let's talk about casting.
Let's talk about casting. Okay. So let's flip back to Teen Wolf. We'll go through the casting.
Heck yeah.
Number 1, Michael J. Fox. We talked about him, how he got the part, how it was a special 3-week deal because of Meredith Baxter Birney's pregnancy.
She's right. You are an animal.
Okay, so I want to bring up a movie real quick that has some Shirley connections. I thought this was fun. So, Michael J. Fox, before Teen Wolf, before Back to the Future, starred in a movie called High School USA.
I saw that movie a bunch of times.
Did you really?
Yeah, it had like a bunch of TV stars, like old TV, like had Bob Denver in it, right? Gilligan, right?
Gilligan is in that. I forgot about that.
I'm like, this may be the only thing that I remember from the movie, but I think they wreck his car, and then to get out of trouble for wrecking his car, they get him drunk, then put him in the wrecked car, and make him think that he wrecked the car drinking and driving.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, High School USA.
High School USA. It's not good. It is on Tubi, though, if you want to watch it.
Tubi. Okay.
Michael J. Fox has kind of a romance with Joe from Facts of Life.
I actually.
Is it Facts of Life? Yeah, it's
Facts of Life. Yeah. I kind of like Joe better than Blair, actually, to tell you the truth. It's something about Joe.
I'll take Blair.
I know.
But it's cool to see a Family Ties,
very young,
Facts of Life crossover right there.
Yep.
Also, in High School USA, Crispin Glover is in that movie.
That's how he knew Crazy Crispin, right?
That's right.
Okay.
So there you go. Okay, so before I talked about the rest of the cast, I want to talk about a guy named Paul Ventura. He's the casting director for Teen Wolf. Okay,
yeah.
This guy does an outstanding job. And it's a whole lot of networking and relationships. So one of the guys that he knows is James Hampton.
Okay.
That's the guy who plays Harold Howard.
Okay.
Scott Howard's dad.
You knew about this and you didn't tell me?
I was hoping I wouldn't have to. Sometimes it skips a generation. I was hoping it would pass you by.
Well, Dad, it didn't pass me by. It landed on my face.
And to me, other than Scott Howard, Michael J. Fox, this is the most important character in the entire movie.
Absolutely, because it's about a father and a son.
About a father and son, right? Yeah. He does an incredible job of being one of the greatest fathers in a teen movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's just the
great.
best.
It's great.
His wife has died. He's trying to be there for his son. He's not being overbearing. He's not being a jerk. However, he did fail to mention that they have a werewolf curse in their family.
It skips a generation. He thought he might miss him. Well, it didn't miss me, Dad. It landed right on my face.
Which that logic doesn't even hold, because if he has grandkids and Scott doesn't know about it, he's going to be like, "What the heck is happening?" So, but other than that, he does such a spectacular job. Yeah. I do love the scene where he and Boof are playing basketball.
Yeah, you
know that was ad-libbed?
No,
the original scene was written as Mr. Howard and Boof are sitting at a table. They're drinking cocoa and they're waiting for, and Scott comes in and hello, how's everything, and James Hampton's like, no, we need action. We need something going on.
Yeah.
So he and Susan Ursity are like, let's play basketball. Both of them not good basketball. Right. But they're having fun. And he's like, let's just go for it. And you can see they are having fun on screen.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
And it gives you that impression that he's known her his whole life. Right? Like he's known her since she was a little kid. Yeah.
It would be like me playing basketball against Blythe.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes.
So it's fantastic.
Okay. Before you leave James Hampton.
Yes.
Did you have more? Are you about to move on?
No, I was getting ready to say something else. No, keep going.
Okay. So on James Hampton.
Yes.
This was, I was kind of blown away on this one, right?
Yeah.
So in the Monster Squad.
Yeah.
One of the two kids is played by Robbie Krieger. Okay.
Yes.
In the early 80s, 1981 to be precise, Robbie Krieger was with James Hampton in a short-lived TV series. And as a matter of fact, I think that Robbie Krieger was only in the pilot episode. I don't think that he went on to do others. But he, who later went on to do Monster Squad, was with James Hampton, who later went on to do Teen Wolf in this TV show called Maggie, which starred Miriam Flynn. Does that name ring a bell for you?
Yeah. Mr. Mom.
Yes.
Yes.
And also Cousin Catherine.
That's Cousin Catherine. There you go.
Cousin Eddie's wife in all of the vacation movies. It did not last long, that show. But I just thought, oh, that's crazy that these two kind of key characters, like really the two key side characters in both of these movies, happen to be in a short-lived TV show together.
How about that?
Yeah.
Miriam Flynn has one of the funniest moments in Mr. Mom when Jack Butler thinks his wife has been cheating on him.
Oh.
And the phone's ringing, and she's like, maybe you should answer it. And he's like, maybe I should answer it. And he rips the phone out of the wall. He's like, hello? Nobody there, I guess. Throws the phone, kicks the TV, and she's just like cringing in the corner. She's like, I'm going to go.
Yeah. I thought you were going to give the line, hi, Jack. You're doing it wrong.
That's funny, too.
We got to do
What
that
are we
movie.
going to do, Mr. Mom? My gosh.
We got to do it.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about Jerry Levine.
Okay.
Boof, how the hell are you? Say no.
No.
Great talking to you.
So this is the dude who plays Styles. Okay?
Yeah.
He talked about when he came into the audition process. So he's like 27, right?
Yeah.
You're playing 17. 27 is a little bit old.
Yeah.
So he comes in, and he said right off the bat, I could tell that the people who were doing the casting were a little bit not sure about me because I was older. And he's like, guys, I just want you to know, yes, I am older, but I can act. And I can act young. And so that's when he broke into his Styles thing,
Character.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And Styles is great, man. He is the flip side of the wolf, right?
He is. He's the marketing, like, let's make it happen, wheeler dealer.
You're beautiful.
Yeah. And it immediately starts calling him TW.
TW, right?
I'm like, how did you already get to this? He's like, you're a teen wolf. Okay, TW, here's what we're going to do.
I know, right? First thing he says is Scott. He's like, Styles, it's me. He's like, all right, TW. Yeah. So, by the way, his name in the movie, real name, so he goes by Styles. Everybody calls him Styles.
Yeah.
His real name in the movie, Rupert.
Right.
Right?
Stylikowski or something, right?
Stalinsky.
There you go.
All right, so note the connection here, okay?
Yeah.
So, Jerry Levine is friends with another girl,
Okay.
working actor.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're looking for a character, this sweet girl next door, sweetheart of a girl.
Yeah.
I know somebody. Her name's Susan Ursetti,
Oh, okay, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So he calls her and he's like, hey, I think maybe this movie's got a part for you.
Uh-huh.
And they had been looking for Boof.
Right.
Can't find Boof because you don't want her too hot. She's got to be kind of subtle hot, you know?
Right.
Right? She's
Very
got to be cute,
very girl
crushworthy.
next story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very girl next story.
So he calls her. She had been in the movie Zapped. Okay.
Oh, yeah. That terrible Scott Baio movie, right? Scott Baio
Heather
and
Thomas
the other.
is in it. I don't know how terrible it is.
Okay.
So he recommended her.
Uh-huh.
Well, it turns out she had been in this really influential USC student film called Last Chance Dance.
Okay.
And apparently it was kind of making the rounds. And they're like, isn't she from that USC film that we watched called Last Chance Dance? And they're like, yeah, And she's like, oh, yeah, she was great.
Yeah.
So friendship connection gets Boof hired.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, I have the answer.
So
I have it.
You told me this on our as I'm sitting in traffic waiting to get here. You're like, so do you know how they came up with the name Boof? And I was like, no. And you're like, don't look. I was like, all right, surprise me, man. Tell
This
me.
is something I have wondered for 40 years, right?
Okay, sure.
So her character's name is Lisa Marconi,
Okay.
which the name Lisa Marconi is actually a former, very important girlfriend of Jeph Loeb.
Okay.
So when Jeph Loeb was in college, I think he went to Columbia. Anyway, while he was there, one of the places where students would hang out is like the steps of the library. When the sun came out and it was a nice day, that's where kind of the social thing happened.
Okay.
So he sees this pretty girl walking down the street towards him and, being 19 and attempting to be suave. As she's walking by, he says something along the lines of, hey, why don't you come have lunch with me? Well, she stops in her tracks and turns around and says, what did you say to me? And he said, I said, why don't you come have lunch to me? And she goes, I thought you called me Boof. And he goes, that doesn't even make sense. Like, that's not even English.
It's not even close to what
She's
I
like,
said.
well, that's why I stopped. Why would you call me Boof? He's like, I didn't call you Boof.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, that spark happened there.
Nice.
And so they began dating. And as a sort of a nickname,
Yeah.
she would call him Boof and he would call her Boof. And there you have the name Boof.
It's great. It's a good story. I like that story.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then now you have the unattainable girl. Her character's name was Pamela.
Right. Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
And so Susan Ursetti, Susie, was friends with this girl named Lori Griffin.
You can murder my family. You can ravage my body. But I beg you with all that is decent and holy, don't destroy my plantation.
They had done a commercial together, and I looked today, couldn't find it.
Oh, too bad.
I know. So you had Boof and Pamela in the same commercial. She was a model, needed a hot girl. She's like, hey, my friend. They brought her in. They're like, I think you're good.
She's definitely hot enough.
I think you're good enough for the part.
Yep.
Okay. And then they bring in Matt Adler, who ends up playing Lewis.
Yep.
Did you know that he was really going for the part in Just One of the Guys? Do you remember that movie, Just One of the Guys?
I do.
So he thought he was in line to play the part of the brother.
Right. Perv brother.
Yeah.
The kid who got that part is the kid who ended up taking Robbie Krieger's part in Maggie. Like
What?
Yes, those two guys looked enough alike. He took his part. That kid who ended up playing the perv brother. Yeah. That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so anyway, he thought he was going to get that part.
Yeah.
Turns out he didn't.
Yeah.
And then Teen Wolf was a fallback role for him. But, he has a really subtle thing in this movie where he's kind of scared of the wolf.
Yeah.
He's disapproving of the wolf.
And we don't really get a firm explanation on that either.
Right.
I feel like maybe that there's some cut scene there that we would have gotten more details on, but I am kind of curious about that.
He seems like he's Scott's conscience.
That makes sense. Yeah.
He's Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah. Well, and he kind of looks like him too. Like they have a very similar look, those two guys.
Yeah.
You know who he's married to now?
You tell me.
It is Laura San Giacomo.
Pretty woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's smoking hot.
Cinderella. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So then you have Mark Arnold, who plays Mick.
You don't scare me, freak. Underneath all that hair, you're still a dork, Scott. I've handled your kind before. Your mama used to steal chickens out of the backyard until I blew her head off with a shotgun. Right, Scott?
He was in like soap opera.
Yeah.
Just kind of your standard tough guy turd.
Yeah.
The guy who plays for the Dragons, who's somehow always around.
Right.
Right. That's one of my. I have a few problems with Teen Wolf, so I want to bring up.
Is he one of them?
Well, the fact that he's always around at another high school,
And he always has a 5 o'clock shadow.
and he's 32 years old. Okay, and you have Mark Holton, who plays Chubby.
Yeah. And first thing that I said to you is like, okay, so we got 2 movies here. One movie got a character, like this is your part.
Right.
You got the part of fat kid. And
My name is Horace.
And then the other movie, you got a character named Chubby or Chubbs.
Chubbs.
Yeah.
Well, he's chubby.
He is.
He's a big guy.
But I said we just talked about him because we just covered Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
He plays Francis.
He plays Francis. He got the part. He took the part from Corey Feldman, right?
He did.
Yeah. And anyway, he was born in Oklahoma City, went to Northeastern State over here in Tahlequah, just a few miles from where I work. It's just, I was like, dude.
My wife's family is from Tahlequah.
Yeah.
I love Tahlequah.
Yeah. Now, this may be a little bit out of place, but when Teen Wolf came out, August of 1985.
Yes.
The number 1 movie the weekend it was released was
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
The number 2 movie was
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf. The number 3 movie was Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Hey, all right.
So, Oklahoma City guy, by virtue of basically dumb luck, is in a couple of low budget, no hope kind of movies, is in the number 2 and number 3 movie.
How about that?
Next to Michael J. Fox, who's in the number 1 and number 2 movie.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. I want to talk about Jay Tarses.
Okay.
He plays the coach.
He's great.
It doesn't matter how you play the game. It's whether you win or lose. And even that doesn't make all that much difference.
He is fantastic.
He really takes his part and makes it great.
You want to forfeit the game?
Sure, why not? I love it when Scott's like, Coach, I want to play the game as Scott, not the wolf. He's like, get our brains kicked in, but okay. He's funny, man.
He's hilarious.
Even when he's not speaking, he's doing funny things.
Yeah. It's like eating a sandwich or just looking around.
Scott came in to talk to him. He's like, Coach, I got a problem. You say you got a problem. You can come in. You can talk to him about anything. He's unpacking like the world's biggest KFC lunch, right? And yeah, so
chicken.
He's chewing gum the whole time. He's like, Coach, I'm going through changes. Oh, sorry, I haven't been hanging around the locker too much. I haven't noticed. So he's actually a writer, producer, director. Like he's a radio personality. He's
great.
He got that part. James Hampton originally wanted the role of the coach.
Oh, right. Dad, yeah, the guy who played the dad wanted to be the coach. Yeah, that's right.
But they said, we like you as the dad.
Yeah, and he's perfect as the dad.
That's right. And then lastly, you've got Jim McCrell. He's the guy who plays Rusty Thorne, the principal.
Yeah. Was he in The Howling? Yes, he was. He was in The Howling.
Wow.
And in Gremlins. And his character's name was Lou Landers in both of those movies.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Did Joe Dante write
Joe
The
Dante
Howling?
did both of those.
Yeah, there you go. So there you go. He's Lou Landers in both The Howling and in Gremlins.
That is a fantastic nugget.
That's great.
Man, if I didn't have one other thing, that'd be a great one to end on right there.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 things.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot to tell you this. One of the actors who auditioned for the role of Styles
Yeah.
before they were big, David Spade.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I could see that.
Right?
And he would have been the right age, too. He'd be much younger than 27 at that point.
Fast-talking salesman, selling T-shirts.
Oh, yeah. He probably would have not been able to surf on a van, though. I don't think he...
A little more believable when he holds the keg and it knocks him over. One other guy I want to mention.
Yeah.
Jeph Glosser. Is that name ringing a bell to you?
No.
All right. Jeph Glosser, 5'6", 5'7", kind of short.
Yeah.
Played basketball at Loyola Marymount.
Okay.
And because he was short in stature and a good basketball player,
Yeah.
he is the basketball playing stand-in for Michael J. Fox as the Wolf.
How tall was he?
5'6", 7", short.
He still looked way taller than Michael J. Fox.
Well,
he looked like a freaking giant.
Well, he is way taller than Michael J. Fox.
I guess that's true.
So they found him. They just kind of put out this call for, need a short kid who could play basketball. He's like, well, I'm short and I play basketball.
Nice.
And that's the guy.
You played for Loyola?
Loyola Marymount.
Nice.
There you go. All right. Well, that does it for the cast of Teen Wolf.
Yeah. It's the end of part 1.
Part 1.
Yeah. So, guys, come back next week. We will jump into casting for the Monster Squad. We'll talk composers. We'll talk special effects. We'll talk final judgment on which of these 2 iconic monster movies is the best.
Bye, guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.